guys and gals? Aure here from Drake Wing Gaming. As some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with the Let's Play episode of Lucas's Path, Violet Memoir. Violet Memoir, Lucas's Path. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go. Alright. I thought Lucas would utterly despise that, but he looks to be enjoying it. He's leaning into it, and it's hard to tell, but I think I can see him smiling. Oscar looks delighted at the response and the sparkle in his eyes as they meet my own. As I meet my own, it feels like it's lifting a weight off my shoulders. I thought the three of us could get some grub. I'm hungry and you two look like you could use something a little more, distracting. He says that with his usual grin and playful cadence, but there's a hint of something else in there too. A hint of worry that's not typical of him. If Oscar's worried about the two of us, then we must look awful. That begs the question, if we look this bad, why didn't Lee interfere at all? He always steps in if he thinks we're not looking so hot. I wonder if he and Oscar talked about this while we were all inside. We're fine. We should just be getting home. I don't like being out this late. Pretty wiped out too, but... Actually, do you think we could go? I'm pretty hungry and I think the company would be nice. I don't think I want to be locked up in a room right now anyway. It's not even late. It's not even that late. It's barely a little past 6. I feel like as soon as we get back to his place, I might end up passing out. I don't know if I want to go back to dreaming that quickly. If y'all hear a buzzing in the background, it's like the dryer. Fox looks conflicted, and that's not surprising. This goes against a lot of what he usually does. He doesn't like to be out at night and tends to avoid Oscar like the plague. Then again, after that head pat, he might be growing on him. But his lack of immediate answer gives me a little hope, and once a sigh slips between his lips, I know we're in business. I don't even think he's that upset if the little flicking of his tail is any indication. I just think he's very nervous. I don't like messing with my routine, but maybe some time out would be nice. I'll let Aure know. He'll want to join us. He should be done with his club in 10 minutes. We can go pick him up. Hell yeah! I've been looking forward to this since you mentioned him. Sounds like a interesting dude. He just rolls his eyes at the otter and ignores him, instead just whipping out his phone. He texts faster than me, which isn't surprising. I think everyone but Lee is faster with their phones than I am. Reminds me of when my aunt used to call me an old soul, whatever that means. I'm not inept with technology. People just don't message me often, or even before this week. It doesn't take too long for Lucas's phone to go off, playing a pleasant little violin piece that I've never heard before. Must be a custom ringtone. It's much nicer than the abrasive alarm my phone blurs out. Look at you being all fancy. Not gonna lie, Grumpy. I expected you to have something like death metal or something real punk-like. I'm not a fan of that music. It's too loud and obnoxious. Hell, I think that's the point. It's a shit point. I don't think we need to fight over this. That's a really pretty ringtone. That lights a smile across Lucas's face, brighter than I've ever seen before. Oscar looks just as surprised as I am. Thank you. I recorded that when I was younger and just started practicing the violin. It was the first few notes I learned. It's barely anything, and I can do much better now, but it makes my mother happy whenever she hears it. That's strangely adorable. Oh, that's real nice of you. My parents keep all my medals and trophies I won from contests at their place. I like to show them off. Don't mean much to me, I just like to swim. Both of them look at me, and I have to divert my eyes. I don't have anything like that. I've never really excelled at anything. I just dabbled in some things that Marcus helped me get into, but I never stuck with them for long. What did your roommate say? He's ready. He's just waiting outside the cultural center for us. What's a cultural center? Just a place where they focus on culture and arts. Every winter's dance group meets there on Thursday afternoons. This is such an information overload. Clubs don't start recruiting till next week, so I have no idea what we have. If someone told me we had a club for fishermen, I'd probably believe them. I've never been there, so lead the way, Grumpy. I must have shown my bewilderment on my face because Oscar comes to my rescue. He even sneaks me a wink as the fox rolls his eyes. I'd probably serve double duty to both help me out and tease him. Alright, fine. This way. I didn't realize how little of the campus I've explored until Lucas took me through areas I didn't even know were part of the university. I thought these were just adjacent areas of the city, not part of college grounds. Eventually we come to a large multi-storied building next to some kind of performance hall. The front of the building looks like it's proudly presenting itself to any bypassers on the street. This entire area looks well maintained, with trees placed in little gaps in the concrete around the expansive entrance to the hall. This must be where they let people in for any live performances. I know there was a show during orientation. I wasn't able to attend due to arriving late. I wonder if this is where that would have been, and if Aure had been performing. Despite the immaculate state the grounds are in, there's an ominous atmosphere to the empty performance building. The theater looks haunting with its large dark windows near the top like hollow eyes staring down at us. The only reprieve we have is the light coming from the upper floors of the building connected to it. I can only assume that's the actual cultural center, and there's a light coming from a phone belonging to a familiar pine marten. He's sitting down on a bench next to a series of bushes with colorful little berries growing on them, waiting with a little smile on his face. He gives a dainty little wave in my direction before his eyes linger on Oscar. This can only go in one direction, and I'm not sure I can handle that for a long period of time. Well, well, what do we have? Who do we have here, Lulu? You must be Oscar. Aure doesn't miss a beat, and with more grace than I've seen in my entire life, slides off the stone bench and right up against Oscar. He's not even hiding the way he's devouring him with his eyes. He greatly undersold your features. Well, nothing beats seeing something with your own eyes, right? I definitely agree. He looks over at me and pulls me, and he pulls as he blah. He looks over at me and he pulls away from the otter. He comes over to the two of us, showing more restraint than I expected. The moment he gets a good look at us, worry swarms his features. It must really look bad if he picked it up that fast. Lulu, is everything okay? You never want to go out to eat. Yeah, just had a bad time at the library. Always thought it might be nice to get that fresh air. There's a weight looming over the three of us as we have to keep the truth from Aure. After all, how do you explain to someone that you just got transported to an abandoned hospital before waking up without sounding crazy or like you just had a nightmare? Hell, we're not even sure what happened. It probably was just a nightmare or hallucination like everyone said, but I feel like there's something more to it. Maybe I'm just paranoid. So, a little birdie told me that we're going to get some food. Yeah, I don't really know any places around here, though. I've never really explored around campus. Oh, don't worry. There's a cute little place nearby. Prices are great and the vibe is lovely. Sound good? The question might have been open, but it's clear who he's really asking. We're all looking at the fox, and he's fidgeting with his ears. He isn't doing anything too bad just yet, but it's clear this whole thing has him nervous. Well, we don't have to go if you don't want to. No, I do. I really enjoyed lunch today, and I want to spend some time out tonight. If you're sure. I am. Nope, zoop! Everyone else begins to walk away, but my eyes get drawn back to the giant hall and its gaping windows. There's nothing there, but it feels like there's someone staring at me through them. It's like a spider crawling over my neck. Spooky, isn't it? It takes all my life force not to scream and fall on the ground as Aure whispers in my ear. The giggle he gives as I jump away would be so much worse if it didn't sound so handsome. I wasn't trying to scare you. Well, not too much. You're just staring off and you got Lulu all worried. Following his gaze, I can see Lucas is peering back at us. They're a lot further down the road than I expected. I thought I was only staring for a few seconds, but they're around 20 seconds worth of distance. Sorry, it's just, I didn't know we had one of these. We practice and perform here for school events. It's much prettier inside. It's spooky at night. Aw, you're adorable. You just haven't been around here enough. It's pretty harmless. The scariest thing that's going to happen to you is being hit on by 5 different guys before you can get out the door. I can't tell if he's kidding, but he's already walking away before I can ask. I take a final glance at the building, and I swear I can see someone peeking through the windows again. Not just someone, but multiple someones. 4 little heads surrounded by the infinite darkness inside. Ooh, that's weird. For someone like Aure, I expected him to take us somewhere fancier with food that's way too expensive for what it is, but he just takes us to a pita place that's just a bit off campus. It's even affordable for someone like me. Ooh, I love pitas. I love pitas. Pita? Hey, Pita. What do you want? I'll pay for you. Oh man, I got a nasty little crook in my neck for some reason. Huh? What? Oh, I can pay for myself, don't worry. It's fine. It's for everything you've done. I couldn't, really. I can pay for myself. Wallace, please. Despite my protest, it's clear the fox isn't taking no for an answer. He's wearing that determined stare he gave me at the library yesterday, and I know he's not budging. With one final sigh, I relent. Okay, you win. I've never really gotten this before, so just get me a chicken Caesar? You? This time he's directing his attention at Oscar, who looks even more surprised than I did when he asked. Which is fair, considering how much Lucas tends to get annoyed at the otter. Oh, well, if you're paying, I'll take a grilled steak. That thing's, like, real nice. Thanks, man. I'll have a garden veggie, too. Thanks, Lulu. You're such a sweetheart when Walter's around. Lucas just gives a snarl and stomps off to the front desk, which only has one final person ordering. The place must be getting ready to close soon. I hope we're not causing any problems. Oh, don't worry, I was only teasing. Lulu always covers dinner. It's very sweet. I don't think he worries about money often. Are his parents rich or something? I'm not sure. He talks about them a lot, but never about stuff like that. I just don't think he thinks about it. It makes sense that his parents are a little well off. They're able to put him in that nicer apartment. He doesn't look to be working any kind of part-time job. It probably helps that he doesn't go out and do things too. Hobbies are expensive. I just think he was trying to impress Wallace here. He's always real cute when Wallace is around, and bitey when he isn't. That's fair. They're very cute together. They're talking like I'm not even here, but I can feel their eyes on me. These two are a dangerous combination together. Maybe I should text Lee. I bet he'd come running. Are you coming back with us, too? For a second, I think Aure's talking to me, but he's actually talking to Oscar. I think he's flirting, but he looks genuinely serious. Actually, despite the initial introduction, I don't think I've seen him flirting with Oscar at all. Nah, I actually gotta head off soon. I got training in the morning, and it's getting late. I'm just gonna get my food and go. Feel really bad bailing on you, Wallace. I think you're in good hands. He reaches over and ruffles up my head fur, much to my flaring cheeks' embarrassment. There's a giggle from Aure and an accompanying chuckle from the otter that really causes my ears to burn. Ooh, excuse me. You can go, then. It's ready. The voice comes from right next to me, and it nearly causes me to jump when I see just how close Lucas got to me without me noticing. The others really had me distracted, considering how empty the store is. The tone wasn't harsh, just matter of fact. I bet he could hear our entire conversation from over there. His sense of hearing is always so insane, and from the looks of his ears, they're a bit pinker than normal. Thanks, man. I know you're not the biggest fan of me, but if either of you need someone to come chill and ease your nerves, you can always hit me up. I'm good with lifting the mood. I bet. You could probably lift all three of us at once. Seizing the opportunity, the otter gives a little flex for the pine marten, though it's clear that it's intended for all of us. I try to keep my dignity and look away, though. I catch that Aure and Lucas aren't so full of shame. He gives us all one final wink before grabbing his food and darting out the door. The last remaining remnant that he was here is the distinct scent that comes from a sweating otter. A group of 3 mustelids and a fox isn't the best idea for smells. I can't imagine I'm much better. Surprisingly, Lucas isn't too bad, and Aure smells just as amazing as the first time I met him. The moment he's out of sight, the marten looks at the two of us with a look of concern. It's a complete shift from how he was looking moments ago. It reminds me of how Lee looked when he woke me up in the hospital. Now that he's gone, are you two alright? You've both been looking like ghosts this entire time. We just had some problems. It's nothing serious. He lets out a sigh and gives us a smile. It's full of kindness and very different from the mischievous one he gave me when we first met. Without any care of who could see, he reaches over and brushes his hand through Lucas's cheek fur. I expect Lucas to pull away and snarl like he usually does, but he just lets Aure do it. They really are closer than I expected. Then he surprises me when he reaches over and does the same to me. It's strange, but surprisingly soothing. It doesn't stop the way my fur stands on him, and my cheeks from burning so hard that it has to be peeking through my fur. This place will be closing up soon, so let's head home. You're staying over, right? Oh, hell fucking yeah, we staying over, baby. We getting some of that. Yeah, he's going to sleep with me. I blanch at that comment, but neither Lucas nor Aure make much of a fuss about it, though I do catch the pine marten sneaking a little smirk while peeking over at me. It only serves to make my blood rush to my face more. I'm gonna be lightheaded at this rate. We got back to their apartment quickly and without any hassle. I didn't realize the pizza store was along the way. I'll have to visit it again sometime. Maybe even take Lucas to it again. Their apartment is surprisingly warm despite no one being in it. Does this room have climate control too? It really is just better than my apartment in every. Is it really just better than my apartment in every way? It's a really beautiful room. Well, I'm still adjusting to this place. Aure and Lucas go on with their routine. After all, this is just their everyday life. It's not strange for them to come home to a studio apartment that's better than some homes I've been to. The fox immediately heads over to his bed and takes off his vest, folding it before placing it in a basket in the corner of a room. I didn't even notice that before, but it's filled with similar-looking clothes to what Lucas normally wears, folded neatly on top of each other. Aure is busying himself in the kitchen, rummaging through the cupboards underneath the sink. It's hard to ignore the way his underwear peeks over the waistline of his pants, leaving very little to the imagination. Wallace, my eyes are up here, not that I mind. At the sound of his voice, I forced my eyes up to his face to see him looking over his shoulder. He doesn't look offended, not that I expected him to. He's wearing as knowing of a smirk as I expected. I wouldn't even be surprised if he planned that. You can go take a shower and freshen up. Don't worry, there's nothing fancy about it. I look over in Lucas's direction to gauge if the fox has any input on this. I don't want to seem like I'm intruding, but he's not paying any attention to me in the slightest. Instead, he's settling onto his bed with a laptop on his lap and a thick book on his nightstand. I didn't even see him grab either of them. He sets up quickly. Don't worry about him, dear. He has a routine that he does when he gets home, and he doesn't like it being messed up. You got time. Well, I could really go for a nice hot shower, and I wouldn't want to bother Lucas. I'm probably already starting to reek, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah, I'll go do that. Thanks. No problem, sweetheart. You can use my shampoo and body wash. Don't tell Lulu I told you, but he loves the smell. I want to be grateful for allowing me to use his toiletries, but I'm just drawing a blank after that final sentence. What should I say after that? Just a thank you? I'm teasing. He does like it, but it's nothing like that. Oh, right. Not wanting to embarrass myself any further, I rushed to the bathroom, trying to ignore Aure silently giggling. One saving grace is that it doesn't seem like Lucas noticed at all. He really is in his own world. The bathroom itself isn't as spectacular as I expected. Not that I really should. It is still a student apartment after all. It's just the usual toilet, sink, fur dryer, and shower. It's even the same size and design as the ones in the communal area. I closed the door, causing the room to go dead silent. The only indication that there's someone on the other side of the door is the light vibration of flowing water. The room feels isolated from the rest of the apartment. Under usual circumstances, the lack of sound would be eerie, but right now, I'm just grateful for a moment to catch my breath. I turn the shower on and I'm greeted by a rush of water, the pressure much stronger than the ones in the communal area. Might as well savor this. It only takes me a couple seconds to yank off my clothes and it feels like heaven. After today, it feels like I ran a marathon in these, even though I didn't really sweat in reality. Reality, huh? I'm beginning to sound delusional. Sliding inside the shower, I'm distracted by what looks like a clear container filled with purple liquid. It's a shampoo bottle, but one you'd usually see for children. The label reads it as lavender scented. I swear I used to have this exact brand when I was in middle school. It had a wild berry smell with a pinkish-orange color. I'm surprised someone our age still uses this. I can't stop myself from smiling. Yeah, Lucas, you're such a dork. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribing, that notification bell, and it seems like next episode, we're going to be snuggling up in bed with Lucas. Anyway, y'all, thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!